The story I'm about to tell you is a story of great injustice. It should make you mad. It should make you question a lot of things. To whose benefit are these laws in place exactly? A man is going to prison, possibly for the rest of his life, in the United States because he got married abroad. That's it. I'm gonna tell the story from my perspective because that's what I saw. In 2023, I met this guy, an American citizen who was living in Egypt because he wanted to study Islam. He had an American wife with 4 kids. One of them was a teenager. And an Egyptian wife. He had 2 wives with 2 or 3 kids with the Egyptian wife. They lived in separate houses. He provided for both of them equally. He loved both of them. Everybody was happy. The kids were in school. Everything was perfect. And when I met this guy, I discovered that he was an actual genius. I swear to God. He was immensely knowledgeable about Islam, Christianity, philosophy, the Bible, the Quran. You won't believe me, but I would ask him just a random question and he would literally recite like 2 pages from an Islamic textbook. He was like ChatGPT. It was amazing to watch. And he was extremely humble. I think he thought that everybody knew what he knew. I told him, no, man, you are an anomaly. You are a genius. How did you learn all this? And he told me his story. At 18, he got married. He was born Muslim, so he stayed virgin until 18 and he got married right away. He had a job. He was involved in his community. He was like the exemplary Muslim. But he felt like he was drifting in a direction that he didn't really like, this stale American life. And he wanted to travel. He wanted to learn Islam. It was possible back then in the early 2000s to study Islam online, but it wasn't as easy as it is now. So he wanted to go to Egypt to study at the hands of this imam who lived in a rural area, in a village, in a small village in Egypt. And he invited his wife to come with him, but she didn't want to go to Egypt. So he went alone and he lived in this village doing nothing but learning Islam, learning Arabic. I think he worked in the fields and everybody loved him in this village. It was one of these stories, you know, a character goes to some Asian country to learn martial arts and the local population embraces him. It was like that. Everybody loved this guy. He was this character, just young black American from the hood, a YN, living in this Egyptian remote village. And he became one of them. And at one point, they basically offered him to marry one of their daughters. And he said yes. And they found him a nice village girl. And the girl was extremely happy. He was extremely happy. Everybody was happy. But is there somebody you forgot to ask? Because the girl was under 18. The girl was the age of my grandmother when she gave birth to my mother. She was older. She was a little bit old. She was older than my other grandmother when she gave birth to my father. The girl was 15. But that's the age where everybody got married in this village. That was normal. Extremely normal. And if you are open-minded, you would understand that that wasn't wrong. He was in his early 20s. It wasn't like you could get married and then like kick your wife to the curb. You get married, you stay married, and that was it. And this was his wife when I met him. That's the Egyptian wife. They stayed married for literally 20 years. They had the kids. They moved to Cairo. They are living in literally one of the best areas in Cairo, in Egypt. They are living a very good life, kids in good schools, married for 20 years. Everything was perfect. It's basically a happily ever after story. And yeah, he had told his American wife, hey, I love it here. I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. You want to come live with me? And she agreed, the American wife. So she moved to Egypt. They had 4 kids. That's it. 20 years later, I owned a small business and I asked him to come work with me on this business. We made a little bit of money. And one day in 2024, he sent me a message saying that he can't continue working with me. He can't even talk to me because he might get arrested. And I freaked out. I asked him, hey, what's going on? And he told me that he couldn't tell me because it's better for me not to know. Because then if they asked me, I could say, hey, I don't know. I legitimately thought that he was involved in something that had to do with terrorism. That's the first thing, because what could be so dangerous that I can't even know about it? So I told him, okay, if you think that. And then he disappeared off the face of the earth. I owed him money, by the way. I still owe him money. Then I tried Googling his name every now and then to no avail. And then just yesterday, I decided to get to the bottom of it. So I used AI, I paid for services. I had to know what happened to this guy. And I found out that he was arrested by the Interpol in 2024 and sent back to America and put in prison for illicit sexual activities in foreign countries because he got married in his early 20s to a 15-year-old girl. That's not normal in America, but it's extremely normal in rural areas in Egypt to this day. People get married at 14, 15, 16, 17, and then register their papers when they reach 18. Everybody does it every day, thousands of people every day. And that's his current wife, 20 years of marriage, kids, perfect life. How did the American government know about this? I have no idea. Now, he might stay in jail for the rest of his life. You know why? Because every time he traveled back and forth, that's a count. Because it was a trip for the purpose of having sex with an underage girl. So every time he traveled back and forth, that's a crime. What crime did he commit exactly? Did he rape this girl? They basically offered him the girl. Not like, by the way, he didn't have any money. He was poor. He was piss poor. He was like this student living in this village. So it's not like he was rich and old guy buying this girl. It wasn't like that. It was the opposite of that, basically. They trusted him. They loved him. They thought that he was a good man. And he was. He married this girl, stayed married, had the kids, the family, everything was perfect. And he was hardworking, by the way. He was a hard worker. Illicit sexual activity with an underage girl. Fuck you. Fuck you. And it wasn't in America anyway, but the way the law works is that if you travel from the US to another country, the preparation for the crime happened in the US, basically the booking of the tickets. So that's you prepared the crime in America. So they sent the Interpol after him and sent him back home to rot in jail. Now, 6 or 7 kids are, because I'm sure he had 4 kids with the American wife, but with the Egyptian wife, it's 2 or 3 kids. 6 or 7 kids are fatherless, no income. 2 families are destroyed. 2 wives are now basically widows because it's possible that he won't leave jail forever. How is this wise? How is this legal? How is this just? How is this even a good thing? Illicit sexual activity, leaving the country with the intent of having sex with an underage girl. Underage girl? Yeah, she was under what age exactly? It's silly, it's crazy. That's it. I think it's unfair to destroy this man's life and family over something that he did 15 to 20 years ago. Something that resulted in no harm to nobody. I think if you asked his Egyptian wife right now, who's in her 30s, was marrying this man one of the best things that ever happened to you, I think she would say yes, because she's living a very good life. It was only technically a crime. Who's the victim? My only hope is that I'm not even sure about that, but I think the father of his American wife has some money, so they might find him a good lawyer that might get him out of this somehow. So I'm gonna pray for him. Bye-bye.